barium will
Okay, so
follow through study. Now here again, see Meera, what is important? What type of barium will follow through? Sometimes, because the lumen is too narrow, if you use very thick barium, there is a possibility that you can actually enhance the level of obstruction. So what you use is a thin barium will follow through. So it is little bit more diluted. It's not the standard one, which is a little bit thicker one, like a milk. It is much more diluted and like a little bit more towards watery side. So thin barium will follow through to mark all the fine minute features. Understand? Dark one or the thick one will not be able to pick up everything. Okay. So this is barium will follow through.
yes, sir.
What else?
Colonoscopy we can do, or CT abdomen.
Okay. First USG you has mentioned, right? Sonography.
Yes, sir. Yes, I mentioned it earlier.
So what do you expect to pick up?
On it, we can pick up the ascitic fluid if it is in the minute amount. That club sandwich pattern between the loops of the intestine, there will be fluid.
Interloop ascites. Okay. What else?
Calcifications, if any.
Are you interested in doing X-ray abdomen plain? Will it tell you some information or give you information? Plain X-ray abdomen. AP view.
I don't know, sir.
It will actually. So what information it will you can gather from plain X-ray? See what happens, Meera. Usually these patients they are in subacute intestinal obstruction because of long lens stricture that is present or developing rather at the terminal ileal level. So because of which there is a thing there. So first of all, second thing there is a proximal dilatation, and there is a possibility of few air fluid levels seen in the ileal level. Unlike the jejunal obstruction, which is quite high, where you have the various patterns, classical book patterns seen. So here it will be a low level obstruction, but if the valve is patent, then it will be a dynamic obstruction. Otherwise, it is a dynamic obstruction. Okay, but majority times, by and large, when the patient mentions about altered bowel habit, it is in a state of subacute obstruction. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so X-ray abdomen is done, sonography is done, your barium meal follow through is done. What next? You mentioned about CT scan.
Yes, sir. Colonoscopy, CT scan.
Okay. CT scan and colonoscopy. Now these two are important. Why these are important? Why CT scan is important?
So we can find out if there are any other at any other places there are tubercles or anything.
Okay. So what we are actually looking for any synchronous lesions or any metacoronous lesions. Now what are these two conditions or entities or like nomenclature is understanding? What is your understanding on this nomenclature? A lesion is synchronous in nature,
No, sir, I
and a
don't
lesion
have
is
idea about
metacoronous. Okay. When we call there are synchronous lesions available, it means suppose in a large intestine, suppose at the ileocecal junction there is one tumor. There is also one tumor that is present in the descending colon. So this is a simultaneous presentation, but this one was more presenting type or manifesting, and this was more of an occult type. It was picked up. However, this picking up of both the lesions happens within a span of 6 months. Okay, so we call it as synchronous lesions. So it literally means present in a same time period. In simple words, metacoronous lesions are something. For example, there was some tumor in the chest because of previous history of tuberculosis. So that is a metacoronous lesion. Say last year it was something, or maybe 1.5 to 2 years back. some node was there, something was there, and now there is a node here in the abdomen. These are metachronous lesions separated beyond 6 months, not in the same time frame.
Okay.
Okay. So to pick
Yes.
up any synchronous or metachronous lesions, one thing, to pick up any free fluid, because as such on percussion you didn't find much of a free fluid, right?
Yes, sir.
What else? Any other organomegaly, and then any other internal enlarged lymph nodes, that is mesenteric lymph nodes, if at all. Then the condition of the
And
total
then the
of large intestine, as well as the junction and the small intestine. That is very important for you to understand CT scan. Fine. And lastly, what you mentioned is very correct. That is the colonoscopy. Now, colonoscopy is of diagnostic importance. So, what you will do in colonoscopy, what happens? What did you get? And what do you get?
when we pass the flexible colonoscopy, then we'll pass through the large intestine and then reach to the ileocecal junction. So we'll see the narrowing or the tuber. Since it is the hyperplastic, we'll see the lesion over there.
Okay. So, one thing is to detect the lesion. Second thing is you pick up a biopsy from that suspicious lesion. Okay. So you pick up also, and you also can actually see, and you can take picture of whatever the growth pattern is, whether it is polypoidal, whether it is ulcerative, whether it is annular type of variety, ulcerative proliferative, or what you mentioned earlier is a hyperplastic type. So any type can be visible there as a growth to your naked eye. And you have also taken a biopsy from suspicious lesions. You may be having a edge biopsy, or you may have part of a tumor. But don't take from the center of the tumor because there's a possibility of necrosis. So don't pick up from the center of the tumor. Take from other sides. Okay. So that is about the CT scan. Anything else you want to do?
Stool culture for the bacilli.
Stool routine macroscopy. Okay. What information you can gather?
We can actually see the presence of the bacilli in the microscopy.
Okay. 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 Anything else remaining?
Nothing, sir. So why did they mention the FNAC of the mass? Because since it is a hard mass, we cannot do.
No. See, that is why. No, that's why I said do FNSC. We can take a colonoscopic biopsy. We have choice. No?
Okay.
See, when you are breaching, you are going from abdomen. You are going inside. You are in between violating the normal sterile cavity. This is a tumor, so you are going there, taking the thing and taking it out. So you are actually seeding the tumor or whatever pathology in the entire tract. You are actually spreading it. So we call it as seeding.
Okay.
Like seeds you are actually putting various places and you're spreading the tumor. So you are actually are increasing the staging of the tumor, not down staging of sampling transabdominally. So that's why we never mention like that. Endoscopically is fine. Endoscopically you can take a biopsy, whether it is a brush cytology or whether you want to take a proper chunk of tissue. That's up to you and up to the mass as such per se. Okay. And as you said correctly,
Okay.
stool routine macroscopy to detect any simultaneous infection or infestation, if anything at all, and you can treat simultaneously. So now, after knowing all these things, what is the next step for you?
To manage the patient, first start him on the antitubercular drugs. And if there are like obstruction, because the fibrosis will be happening after the inflammation. So if it is a lot, then we can operate him.
Which drugs will you use? Yes. Which drugs, Mira? Tell the AKT, no?
Sorry?
Just elaborate a little bit on the AKT.
So we'll start him with the HRZD routine. That is for the like 6 months. I think 6 months or 9 months, not sure, but 6 months basically. But since this patient has not completed his previous treatment, so maybe we have to extend the period of treatment and also introduce that new drugs, bidaquiline and delamide, and also if needed, the second line drugs would be added.
So as per the terminology, patient is a defaulter for pulmonary tuberculosis.
Yes,
so you have to educate the patient and tell that if he or she, if at all, they miss any doses or lose out in between on their own, they are labeled as lost to treatment or defaulters. And then you have to again restart from the scratch. So it's not that like suppose they are taken for 3 months and then
okay.
2 months they are not taking, so they can take the 6 months. No, like that, nothing like that. But to again start from ABC. So that is why you have to emphasize that on them that this is what is happening. So you better complete the course. Right? Otherwise, there will be again a repetition and they will have double problems with that. What else?
Mm, then we'll also send it for the drug sensitivity to see, and then we can modify according to it the treatment.
Okay. So what treatment do you want to offer?
And for the complications, sorry,
What treatment? Would you like to offer?
like the surgical one.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yes,
Is there any
surgery,
option for
because if there
surgery?
if there is obstruction like because of the fibrosis, and then we'll first do the first we preferred one is the limited ileocecal resection, like within the 5 centimeters the ileum and the cecum is removed,
That is
and
called as
anastomy, limited ileocecal resection.
okay. It is also called as quarter colectomy. Okay. So you remove a quarter of a colon. It is called quarter colectomy. So only a 5 centimeter margin is removed proximally and distally. Okay. And this is classically done for pulmonary tuberculosis or patients who are having pulmonary tuberculosis along with the intestinal tuberculosis or isolated ileocecal tuberculosis. Treatment of choice or the terminology of choice is a quarter colectomy. But on depending on the depth of invasion and on table various factors, pointing factors, one can actually choose whether to go for a quarter colectomy or a right hemicolectomy. Now, what is the difference between right hemicolectomy and this?
In this, we only remove the ileocecal junction and the proximal distal margin of 5 centimeters. But on the hemicolectomy, we'll remove the entire right side of the colon and then directly anastomize with the up to the transverse colon half. I guess we'll remove it.
Okay. Right hemicolectomy is usually to the right of middle colic. Now, middle colic makes a marker or marking point or a watershed zone that actually will differentiate. So when you call it as right extended hemicolectomy, it is to the left of middle colic. Okay, and you encompass the entire till the ileocecal junction, terminal 15 centimeters of ileum, along with all the fibrofatty tissue and lymph nodes in the region, without damaging the ureters when you are mobilizing. Because colon is fixed, ascending colon is fixed structure, so you have to mobilize laterally, and hepatic flexure is a fixed structure, so you have to mobilize the hepatic flexure and take it out. Okay, that is a hemicolectomy standard and extended hemicolectomy. That is the right side. Fine. Next, what will you do? And
then
so
if
see,
there's
no. See, when you mention this, no, that is say quarter colectomy, or what you mentioned is a limited colectomy, followed by what?
anastomosis.
So ileocolic anastomosis. Okay.
Yes.
So that you have to specify. That will complete. So just don't mention a colectomy and what type of anastomosis. So you will tell it will be better. So a quarter colectomy or a limited colectomy followed by ilean colon, ileocolic anastomosis. Then now here again two
Then
things.
if it is just
Mira, when you're planning, what is most important when you're planning for a quarter colectomy or hemicolectomy?
like the duration of the treatment of the drugs, because when the infection subsides, fibrosis will be more.
Ideally, patient should be started on AKT when you are actually going to operate. So when patient is on AKT, it is better that you go ahead and operate when the patient is under the umbrella of antituberculous treatment. That is one thing. Second thing, if it is a planned surgery and patient is not an obstruction, so you have to prepare the bowel. Why preparation of bowel is important? Why?
To operate it is easier.
Okay, operation is okay. Easier is not a issue. What is important that the anastomosis is healthy. Okay, if you operate in unprepared bowel, Mira, what will happen?
Yes, sir. Anastomotic leak can occur.
So, or suppose leak doesn't happen. Don't think that bad. Leak doesn't happen. What you should do, you have to do rather, is a temporary diversion. It is a temporary colostomy.
Colostomy.
Okay. So when you're doing this thing, because bowel is not prepared, you have just gone inside without any preparation and trying to achieve the anastomosis, it will not hold. And even if it holds, there is a possibility of some other complications. So you have to have some diversion. So this will heal nicely. Anastomosis will heal. Okay. So this is very important that the bowel needs to be very prepared. Now, second thing, what else will you do? Now, how do you prepare bowel?
The previous night will give him the laxative.
Laxative, which?
Bulk forming laxative.
Laxative will help now when you're operating tomorrow.
Sir, it takes 6 to 8 hours, no? So in the morning, if it is...
No. It may vary, no? Laxative is not for bowel preparation. What is required
so
is a
enema then we can go for.
Colo wash. The colon needs to be washed, right? So for giving a colo wash, what is that? In earlier times, we used to call it as Peglic or a colo wash. These are the brands actually. So what is the material it contains?
I don't know that.
It's a PEG or polyethylene glycol solution. Okay. It is a little bit hypertonic solution that patient usually drinks. So what happens? A night prior or 24 hours prior, you keep the patient on clear liquids. Why all this exercise? Because you don't want stools to interfere when you are doing the anastomosis and resection. Otherwise, there will be spillage everywhere and entire thing will get contaminated, which you do not want. That is why it is very crucial, Mira, that you have to prepare the bowel. There will not be any spillage of stools anywhere as such. So a colo wash or a PEG, that is polyethylene glycol solution, is prepared. There is a measurement. So this particular, say around 25 ml is prepared to 1 liter of water, and it is diluted, and the patient is asked to drink it over a period of 1 to 2 hours. And then patient usually goes for passing motion. Now the ideal endpoint is whatever the patient drinking should come out. Understand? So suppose patient is drinking, say, clear, say, sort of a clear solution of, say, some XYZ color. So that same thing should come out. That is the actual endpoint. That entire thing has been washed nicely. No residual stools remaining. That is why we call it as a bowel preparation. Now, what is the side effect of this bowel preparation? And if you do not do it properly, patient can go into electrolyte imbalance. So that is why you have to keep such patient on the fluid along with potassium supplementation. So overnight, a pint of dextrose, that is DNS with 10 cc KCl, is given so as to have a equilibrium or balance. Otherwise, suddenly patient will go into negative potassium balance. And then again, by achieving good colo wash, patient will actually be having negative nitrogen balance or negative electrolyte balance, mainly for potassium point of view, which you don't want. So you have to supplement the potassium. Understand? So bowel preparation is very, very crucial. You can again read about it in detail. Plus, we have to give broad spectrum antibiotics 24 hours prior, 12 hours prior, like neomycin 2 grams, for example, so that it basically cleanses the entire bowel. Now, fine, nicely. Okay, this is a bowel preparation. When you operate, then you do the anastomosis, everything is fine. And suppose it comes as a ileocecal tuberculosis with a clear margin. So you have achieved a fair success. Next, you have to advise patient for AKT. Now here, how long will you give AKT?
For 9 months.
Okay, so basically 9 months to 1 year, depending on the requirement of the patient. Because patient is already a defaulter, so pulmonary focus may or may not be there. It's a possibility. In addition to that, you have to also give the AKT. So here again, that you have to read in detail regarding the AKT, that they will ask you in detail. What are the various drugs? What are the common side effects? What are the intensive phase, maintenance phase, etc., etc. Right? So AKT you have to read. And usually, what is the post-operative care? Now this you can do either by open exploratory laparotomy, or one can do laparoscopically also, depending on the expertise of an individual surgeon. The hemicolectomy or the quadricolectomy, right? And then you have to maintain patient's nutritional status always high protein diet, and patient should come for follow-up at regular intervals. So as to you will come to know that patient is completing the AKT as well as he is doing overall well. So by checking patient's weight, patient's ESR, very important that you serially monitor the things and follow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have presented nicely, but try to include all the points and
Okay, sir.
just see that the continuity is always maintained. Yeah. Now this is a long case, typically lump in abdomen, because your topic is a very focused one, ileocecal tuberculosis. So I not deviated too much from here and there, except from history point of view. But there could be some deviation depending on your presentation. So your presentation needs to be very, very focused. So the discussion will also remain focused. So any other questions?
No, sir, that's it.
Or anyone, if you want to have, you can collect the questions. We can then maybe answer later on some next topic when we're discussing. Now one can take the attendance and send it to Pasgari madam. Right?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ashish. Thank you, madam. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.